And before I start, let me answer two of the most common questions we get about ProDocs up front. The first is, as you'll see in a minute, we've created 2 templates. These are just examples of what you can build, but know that we recommend that you build your own template specific to your business. Materials, pricing, waste, overhead, profit, all are user defined, and I'll show you guys how to do that. You can create as many templates as you want. For example, you might have templates for Owens Corning or GAF or IKO or any other manufacturer, or for a retail roof on an uninsured roof, since ProDocs is a great tool for supplemental claims. And you can even create templates for each insurer. So Allstate or USA or State Farm, who knows, you might want to create a steep roof or a flat roof templates. It's completely up to you and customizable for your business. The second is that we've turned on all the features that you're going to see today in each of your accounts at no cost to you. You've already been assigned account executive, and he or she'll be happy to help walk you through what I'm showing you today. And we're happy to help you build your first template to get you started. So there's no reason you can't be up and running on these tools right away. So again, if you got any questions during the presentation, feel free to chat them to me or holler at me, and we'll go from here. So
right.
each of go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So you should see the Let's Get Started page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set up your account correctly. And the way that you do that is you go into the My Details section. The first thing that I want to do is make sure that anybody on my team can order a scope, right, under the corporate card. So I can add a team member here. And put Kelsey's email in here. Kelsey now is added as a team member, and she can create scope reports, order scope reports from our site. They'll be delivered directly to her. Okay. Anybody in your team can do that, and those reports will be charged under the credit card that we've got on file.
Okay.
The next thing I want to do is to make sure that somebody in the office, typically a project admin, secretary, whoever drives this in your organization, can see all the receipts. So in this case, I've carboned Kelsey on this, and she can see every report from anybody that's a team member that's generated. And again, typically for our customers, these are project managers, right? Office administrators, that kind of thing. They simply add them like we did before to that recipient email. They'll then see every single scope that's ordered. The third thing I want to do is I want to make sure that anybody on my team can order a scope from the field remotely on their cell phones. So what we've done is we've created something called text to scope. And if I register a phone here, that number can automatically be added to the system, and my guys in the field can go on their phones, type in an address, choose from the report that they want, and we'll generate the report based upon that text. When the report is ready, we'll text them back and let them know that it's ready with a link to go get the report. So this is really important stuff, and this is a way for you to get the most value out of this. Again, it's adding additional people on your team that can order reports, adding somebody on your team that sees all the reports that are ordered, and then registering phones so that your team in the field can go on their cell phone, text us an address, and we'll deliver the scope. That make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good. So now let's go show you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Somebody have a question? So now let's go order a scope. Many of you have done this before. I'll go through the process very quickly to show you how it works. You simply type in an address. Here's 1768 Ivanhoe Street in Denver. And I search for that address, and there it is. Looks like about 3,000 squares for this. I simply confirm the location. I identify the property type. In this case, it's a small residential. If I had auxiliary buildings here, I can enter those. We'll scope up to four total buildings. That means the main one plus 3 auxiliary buildings for any report at no additional charge. And then simply identify the reports that you want. So you could do a roof scope and a siding scope if you wanted on this house, or just a roof scope. It's completely up to you. and then simply add it to the cart. So that process is really easy. We built this so that you can do this, from your desktop, from a mobile computer in the field, and again through your iPhone if you need to. If I then go up here to the house and hit the My Scopes button, you can see all the scopes that I've recorded over time. So this is essentially a repository of everything that I've done, and you can see that it goes back over time. I've got a couple pages here. So let's go to this house on 1768 Ivanhoe Street. And if I download the PDF, you'll see that I get this report, which many of you are used to seeing. It incorporates typically 4 different aspects of the house. Aerial imagery. We take that aerial imagery, that then goes to our CAD team. So we've got a set of CAD professionals, a whole team of CAD professionals who have backgrounds as engineers, who then go through the process of taking this image and drawing this very detailed and accurate image CAD drawing of the house. And as you can see here, we've broken it down into planes, and for each plane, we give you the area, the pitch, whether it's a high roof, and the ice and water shield, which you can see here in the hashed areas. So there's plane A, plane B, etc. And at the bottom, we've got a key, so you know whether you're looking at an eave or a rake or a valley or a hip or whatever it might be. That's all color-coded for you. We then take all this information from the roof and we summarize it here. So you can see this roof is 33.2 squares. Standard slope is 33.1. It's got 1/10 of the square of low slope. It's got 18 squares of high roof and 1,150 square feet of ice and water barriers. There's 31 planes in this roof. It's a little bit cut up, and you can see we've got measurements for the eave, rake, total perimeter, ridge, hip, valley, step flashing, and head wall flashing. So this is our standard report for the roof scopes. For siding scopes, they get a little bit more complicated because we've got more sides of the building, obviously. But I think you guys get the idea, and most of the people on the call today, I think, have ordered these reports from us. From there, after I've generated that PDF, I can then easily go into ProDocs. And from here, I can generate an estimate and a work order from that house immediately to get the reports that I need to get this roof under contract. So let's go to the estimate. What we've done here is we've identified a template that I call the OC duration system. So obviously this is going to be built with Owens Corning materials. If I hit the continue button and the generate estimate button after that, you can see that I've now generated an estimate for this house. You can see it's 33.19 squares. We pulled that from the roof measurements. I've got my price for the tear off, and we've done the math for you and calculated here in the final column. We've done that for each one of the line items that we thought were appropriate for this roof. We've dropped our logo in here. We've got the date. You can turn this into a PO number if you want. We've identified all the contact information, a set of notes that auto-populate based upon how you want it to read, and then a footer. So we generate that automatically with each roof that we build. From there, I can take that estimate and I can email it to my customer or anybody on my team. I can download that, save it to my desktop, and of course I can print it. If I flip the page over, you'll see that I've got an invoice. Obviously important, as you guys want to get paid for your reports, right? So what we've done here is I've got line items for this invoice, but you can create an invoice with one single line item for so that you don't break it down and have your customers be looking at each individual item for the report. Same thing with the notes. Fill out any notes that you want here in the bottom, and then of course you can edit that on the fly as well. And then with the invoice, the same thing. I can email that to my customer. I can download it. I can print it if I want to stuff an envelope. So let's go take a quick look and see how I actually created this estimate and invoice. What I've done is I've built this template to look like what we think a roof should look like. Again, it's completely and totally up to you what line items that you want. And let me break down one of these line items, give you a little insight into this. If I hit the edit button over here to the right, did somebody have a question?
No, I'm good.
Okay. If anybody, so I hit the edit button, you can see that we have scraped here the measurement data from our report. So there's a 33.19 squares. It's up to you then and your ability to customize this, put in your waste, your labor, your material cost, overhead, and profit for each line item, and then we do the math here. You can see that we've pulled this, installing the deck defense roof underlayment from the total squares. But if I go to another line item here, let's see, here's the ridge vents. You can see that we pulled this measurement from the hip and ridge and auto-populated this variable. Again, you get to customize this by putting in your waste, your labor, your material cost, your overhead. You can move a line item by dragging it. You can delete a line item very simply, and you can add a line item at your convenience. It's that simple. So for each one of these, we're obviously got the ability to put in the project notes, as I mentioned before, and the footer note. Can everybody see my screen here? Do it again. I think we might have dropped that screen. So let me make sure everybody can see this. Can everybody see this document here? Or better said, can anybody not see this document? Okay. All right, so that's how we built this template for the estimate. Again, the important points to point out are you can build as many templates as you want. You can create as many line items per template as you feel is appropriate. You can move the line items, you can delete a line item, or you can add a new line item very, very simply. Now let's go back. So let me generate that estimate again. Now let's go back to that same RoofScope report that we ran at Ivanhoe Street. And instead of generating the estimate, this time let's do the work order. So same thing, we're gonna auto-populate a lot of these fields here. We're gonna choose the OC duration seal, defend, breathe template. And we're gonna automatically generate that work order on the fly for you. So if I hit the generate work order button up here, you can see that that is already built. We've highlighted each line item based upon the appropriate measurement, bundles for the shingles, boxes for the hip and ridge shingles, rolls for the underlayment, pieces for the venture. You get the idea down here. And then we've, in this case, called out the manufacturer. So that work order can then easily be emailed to your supplier. You can type in notes on the fly. We've got the same footer down here at the bottom as we had on the other report. I can download that, I can print it, and I can flip the page over, and I've got a material cost list. Many of the contractors that we talk to are not even working from a material cost list. This is the first time they've be able to have one printed out and shared internally. It's a great tool so that when you go over or under budget on a given roof, you can go back to the material cost and say, where did we miss this, right? I'm gonna go back into this document. I'm gonna edit this, and I'm gonna show you how we built this work order. So same idea here. We've identified all the appropriate line items that we thought were necessary for this roof. I'm going to go into the true definition duration shingles here. I'm going to edit this, and you can see that we have populated this with 33.19 squares from the roof. I got to choose my waste, and knowing that I'm converting, in this case, squares to bundles. You see all the different options I've got here. I'm creating squares to bundles. I know that one square is 3 bundles, and I'm going to round up to the nearest bundle because I can't buy a third of a bundle. And given all this information, I know that we need 110 bundles at $35.65 per bundle for a total of $3,921.50. So we're pulling all this information from the RoofScope reports. Again, I've chosen to pull this from, total squares, but you can see that I've got lots of different variables here, lots of different measurements to choose from for any given line item, depending on what I'm doing. So I'm going to close that. Same idea here. You can drag or drop any one of these. I'm going to move the pipe boot, the 3/4 pipe boot above the 3/1 pipe boot. And it looks like I've got 4 of those on the house, and they're $12.65 each. And now when I generate the work order, you're going to see that that populates. One of the other nice things about the work order is I've got the ability to change manufacturers. So if instead of Owens Corning, I'm using GAF, it's a simple process to change that. I can also decide on the colorways. If I've got a generic item like spray paint, I can match the shingle. And as I create the new work order, you can see this has changed from GAF, drop the color in here. There's the 3 cans of the generic spray paint matched to the shingle. Same thing, email it, download it, print it, and then on the other side, I've got my material cost. You can see I've got my pipe boot that I identified before at $50.60. Anybody got any questions about what I've just showed you today?
No.
This all making sense to everybody on the call?
Sure.
Okay. So the idea here was to help you gain efficiencies. Hopefully what you've seen is that estimates and work orders got a lot easier to generate. You know, I talk to contractors every day, right? And they're telling me they're spending anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour to generate estimates and then the work orders. I hear that they're doing 20 of these a week. What I'm essentially doing is buying these guys 20 hours a week. And from them, it's up to them to decide how they're going to reallocate that 20 hours, right? Are they going to take time off? Are they going to sell more? Are they going to have their team sell more? Whatever it is, this is all about helping you scale your business. So we've turned ProDocs on in each of your account at no cost for as long as you're ordering reports from us. We'd love to hear your feedback in it. In the meantime, please take us up on our offer to help you build your first template. Reach out to us. The phone number is on our screen at 877-697-2673, or email us and we'd be happy to help walk you through your first template build, answer any additional questions you've got relative to what we just showed you today, and of course, help you place orders.